Hello, everyone. We will be presenting the Salmonella outbreak linked to Italian-style meats for our HACCP case study for FSN 275. My name is Nadine Redling. I am a fourth-year agricultural communications student.
Hi, my name is Ashley Jordan, and I'm a second-year agricultural communications student.
Hi, my name is Kayla Dabowski, and I'm a fourth-year agricultural communications student.
Hi, my name is Kelsey Colbo, and I am a fourth-year agricultural communication student.
Hi, everyone. My name is Colette Smith. I'm a third-year agricultural communications major.
So for the product description, this is the Fratelli Beretta brand prepackaged uncured antipasta trays that include prosciutto, sopressata, Milano, salami, and coppa. These were sold at Costco, and the full package was 24 ounces, but it was divided into two smaller 12-ounce sealed packages, and these were only sold at Costco. They recommend that you refrigerated them at 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and they were sold as ready to eat with no special instructions. The only special instructions that were included were after refrigeration. If you wanted to basically save them and refrigerate them again, you had like the small time period, which we have discussed in class, to ensure that there was no potential for excess bacteria to grow on it or anything else of that matter. So basically in hot temperatures, you have an hour to put it back, and then in cooler to like room temperature hours, you have a couple hours to put it back in the refrigerator to keep it safe for the consumer.
So for our flow diagram description, the manufacturing of Fratelli Beretta uncured antipasta trays could be simplified as follows. Prosciutto, sopressata, Milano salami, and coppa are produced separately and received. They are then stored in refrigerators until it is time for them to be packaged. The meats are packaged together and sealed in a vacuum pack. After being packaged, they are placed back in the refrigerator until they are delivered to stores. And so here's our flow diagram. This kind of explains how the trays are produced. It starts out with the 4 types of Italian meats, which are prosciutto, sopressata, Milano salami, and coppa. Prosciutto is a dry cured ham made from pork and salt. Sopressata is a dry cured pork salami made from ground lean pork cuts and various seasonings. Coppa is made from pig muscle and salted with salt, pepper, and various other spices. And Milano salami is dry cured and made with pork, sea salt, and red wine. The meats are received and stored in the refrigerator until it's time for packaging. Once packaged, they are returned to the refrigerator and kept there until delivery.
So there are 3 types of hazards that people can encounter in our food products. Those are biological, physical, and chemical. The first one we will cover is the biological hazards, such as bacteria, viruses, and parasites. The norovirus is the #1 bacterial foodborne illness, resulting in about 5,500,000 cases per year. Salmonella is the #1 viral foodborne illness, resulting in about 19,000 hospitalizations per year and about 378 deaths per year. The second hazard we'll cover is physical. Physical hazards can include glass, wood, stones, metal, jewelry, bone, plastic, needles, and many more. According to the FDA, they classify a product that is ready to eat as being adulterated if it has a sharp or hard foreign object that measures about 0.28 inches to about 0.98 inches in length. In addition, it has been reported that between 1% and 5% of ingested foreign objects have resulted in a minor to serious injury, and 80 to 90% pass through the gastrointestinal tract just fine. Okay, so lastly, we'll cover chemical hazards. And according to the FDA, chemical hazards can include radiological hazards, substances such as pesticide and drug residues, natural toxins, decomposition, unapproved or color additives, and food allergens. And these can also include cleaners, sanitizers, oils, and they can be unintentionally introduced or intentionally introduced for economic gain.
As I previously discussed, this flow diagram represents how Fratelli Beretta brand prepackaged uncured antipasta trays are produced. All three of the hazards that Nadine talked about in the previous slides can be found in any step of production, from receiving raw food products and packaging materials to distribution. Specifically, a biological hazard can be found at any point of the process if the product is tested. For example, salmonella can be diagnosed anywhere in the processing or production line if the product has been contaminated. Physical hazards can be introduced through uncleanliness of workers or broken machinery that comes into contact with the product. An example of this could be a fingernail or piece of hair getting into the meat before being packaged. Finally, chemical hazards can happen when surfaces with harmful chemicals come into contact with the product.
All right, so some critical control points that are found in this case. A lot of it comes from proper chilling. So consumers can't leave Italian meats out after opening. So this could be something popular like a charcuterie board, or maybe it's just a deli sandwich. Businesses also need to refrigerate meats to keep them at the proper temperatures, which is 40 degrees Fahrenheit, as it was previously mentioned. For proper storing, deli meat should be eaten within about 5 days of opening the package. And of course, this should be held at proper temperatures as well. Also, no deli meat should be frozen according to the FDA. And I know that a lot of like deli diners and all of that, they do freeze their meat, which can cause problems. One of the biggest things is hand washing. So you need to be able to hand wash routinely, whether you're on the business side, whether you're just making your own sandwich, especially when cooking for others. And you should always wear gloves when it's appropriate or necessary. And for processing procedures, you want to make sure that sealing and filling containers are being done correctly, or vacuum sealing. There can be a lot of mistakes if you're not trained properly. So businesses and even consumers should know how to do those things correctly. And there should also be an awareness around uncured versus cured meats, and specific regulations and procedures that go with each of that meat, because there are different ones.
All right, so some other questions that pertain to our case study. The Fratelli Beretta, according to the CDC, has no prior recalls. So there are no prior outbreaks traced back to this company. We have only seen reports of outbreaks connected to the 24-ounce trays containing the two 12-ounce packages of Fratelli Beretta uncured antipasto, prosciutto, the sopressata, the Milano salami, and the coppa. The products subject to recall are numbered here, as listed as 7543B, printed on the packaging next to the best by date. So each of the packages that are specific to the outbreak should have that number printed on them. And those are the packages in question. These items were shipped to retail locations nationwide. The U.S. Department of Agriculture's Food Safety and Inspection Service, as well as the CDC, have investigated the multi-state outbreak and discovered 36 reported cases of illness. 23 of these cases are reported to be Salmonella typhimurium, and 13 of these cases have been reported as Salmonella infantis. The outbreak spans across 17 states, and at least 12 people have now been hospitalized due to severe illnesses. but luckily no deaths have been reported. As well, no legal consequences have been reported due to this outbreak. So there are no lawsuits currently being filed against the company. An interesting note I found while researching, because of the long shelf life of the meat product, there is concern that consumers may still have these products in their homes. Consumers are advised to check the label information of any product they have on hand. If the codes match the recalled products, the meat should immediately be thrown away or returned to the place of purchase. And again, that number on the labels is 7543B. Another interesting note regarding legal, another interesting thing to know is that if the infected fail to order a stool culture while being examined, it is very hard to prove their illness was caused by ingestion of meat from a Fratelli Berata brand prepackaged uncured antipasto tray and may not have grounds for legal actions. Now references.
So in order to make this presentation, we had to do a lot of research, and we are pretty surprised that the majority of the research didn't include how exactly it got into the plant and how it got into the food system. But we used a lot of websites from the FDA and CDC to get the information that we do have. We also got information from the original Fratelli Bruschetta USA website, as they had a lot of product description and had information about the outbreak on their website. There was also, we looked into the Schmidt Law to learn more about the lawsuits that could have potentially been filed. And then we also learned about the difficulties of filing a lawsuit without the proper information and the proper sample. And then the FSIS was also helpful when we were learning about the recalls and how the products have a long shelf life and how people can still possibly have them even though the case is considered over. And then the Penn Live outbreak also was very helpful. And then we also used the slides provided in class to be able to learn more about the processes and then how different things can get into our food system. And that is what helped create the diagram that Nadine and Kayla went over. I think that is the end of our presentation. So thank you for listening.